This is your Nutrition Mental Health Break, brought to you by the Center for Nutritional Psychology. 2 minutes to learn and be good to yourself. The Center for Nutritional Psychology summary of USDA and HHS published Dietary Guidelines for Americans, 2025 to 2030. Since 1980, the U.S. Department of Agriculture and the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services have been publishing the official Dietary Guidelines for Americans. Published every 5 years, these documents serve as a foundational cornerstone for federal nutrition policy. The guidelines are expected to embrace current findings in nutritional science and translate them into practical guidance to enhance the overall health of all Americans. The Dietary Guidelines for Americans 2025 to 2030 have been published in January 2026. They start with an alarming note that 90% of healthcare spending goes to treating people who have chronic diseases that are a predictable result of the standard American diet, reliant on highly processed foods and coupled with a sedentary lifestyle. In a call to Make America Healthy Again, the guidelines advise Americans to return to the basics. They suggest that American households must prioritize diets built on whole, nutrient-dense foods, protein, dairy, vegetables, fruits, healthy fats, and whole grains. This should be paired with a dramatic reduction in highly processed foods laden with refined carbohydrates, added sugars, excess sodium, unhealthy fats, and chemical additives. The main point of these guidelines is that a person should eat and drink the amount of food and beverages that is right for them. Whenever possible, people should choose water and unsweetened beverages for hydration. Dietary patterns should prioritize protein foods at every meal, including both animal and plant sources. The guidelines encourage the consumption of dairy, fruits, vegetables, and whole grains. Diet should incorporate healthy fats, such as those found in olive oil, butter, seafood, eggs, and nuts, but they should constitute no more than 10% of the calorie intake. Finally, the guidelines suggest limiting intake of highly processed foods, added sugars, refined carbohydrates, and alcoholic beverages. The guidelines also provide specific recommendations for children of various ages, young adults, pregnant and lactating women, older adults, individuals with chronic diseases, vegetarians, and vegans. Overall, Dietary Guidelines for Americans 2025 to 2030 shift the focus from isolated nutrients to food quality, processing, and overall dietary patterns. They emphasize that dietary patterns should be adjusted to individual needs, offering recommendations closer to how individuals naturally perceive food rather than in terms of specific nutrient quantities. Noting that an optimal diet should be both healthy and palatable, guidelines implicitly recognize the relevance of psychological experiences, such as enjoyment of food, and its importance for overall well-being. Our thanks to the U.S. Department of Agriculture, USDA, and the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, HHS, colleagues for translating the novel scientific findings into these practical guidelines. This Nutrition Diet Mental Health Break is brought to you by the Center for Nutritional Psychology, CNP.